chemistry, and my early influencers were like my mother and my maternal grandmother because they were very hardworking, they were dedicated, they were sincere. So you can say like I have in blood from these two people only, and these two people made me to work very hard, to be responsible, to be sincere, to be dedicated to my work. And regarding chemistry, actually this option, like we don't have any option from the childhood. This option, like when we interact with our school teachers, uh, my school teacher, like chemistry teacher, was very interesting, and the way she used to teach was really really impressive. And that, due to that teacher, like the teaching part, the chemistry subject became favorite. And I, like during my graduation, I opted for chemistry as my main subject. I had my schooling in a government school. So I had like my secondary education was in one of the school which did not have English medium earlier. Like that time when I was student, there was Hindi medium and the subjects were in the Hindi medium only. But when I was in when I was in ninth class, then the English medium was introduced, and I was very sharp in all the subjects at my school level. So my teachers insisted that I should opt for the English medium as the subject and in the like uh, medium of teaching. So I opted for English medium subject, and because it was not there in that earlier school, so I had to change my school to opt for the science subject. And there, the teachers, like I had interest in biology, chemistry, and physics, but because I was, like for the teachers, I was an outsider or a new student. So most of the teachers, they were focusing on the, you can say, their old students or the like front benchers. So biology teacher and physics teacher, they were not they're not paying attention to the students like me. But chemistry teacher, she used to teach in a way, like it was not just theoretical. She used to make it in a practical way. Like whatever she used to write, she used to give some examples. And like the way she used to teach, it was very interesting for me, and I was very impressed. And I had decided that I would opt chemistry as my main subject in my graduation. Yeah, in the beginning it was difficult, but in our exams, like 9th, 10th exam, when I wrote my exams, so we were like, there was some relaxation that if we don't know any English word, so we were there was relaxation that we can use Hindi word for that term. So because of that relaxation, although I had to work very hard because my all subjects were in Hindi, and immediately like it was switched on to English medium. So it was a bit hard for me, but even that time also I could get first division during my board. Actually, in my graduation and post graduation, I did not have agriculture as subject, or as like we were not taught any agricultural kind of thing. So when I entered this field, it was like everything was new to me. So for me, like I used to sit blank because I didn't have any knowledge. Whatever was, like whenever there was a meeting, so they used to take name of pesticide, pest, and all. So I was very confused, like this name belongs to pest or pesticide. I didn't have any knowledge. So I was fortunate that I did my PhD during my, as in service candidate. So I did PhD from this Pusa campus only, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, where I was introduced the agricultural courses, the major course, the minor course. So I had to undergo 1.5 year course, the agricultural course. So there I got confidence about the role of chemistry in agriculture. So then I started writing projects, independent projects. So that could make me understand like, because in agriculture we use, first of all we use fertilizers for the crop. And fertilizers, the chemistry is there, because all molecules are there, whether it is urea, whether it is phosphate or nitrate. This is there, you will see everywhere it is chemistry. Then when you go to the like field, there is crop is attacked by a number of pests, whether it is pest or disease or weed, whatever. So to control that, we use pesticides. And pesticides, we have to understand the chemistry of the pesticide, like what will be the mode of action of that pesticide, how it will act. So that kind of like chemicals are there. And if we see the botanicals, then in botanicals chemistry is there, like we have to extract the bioactive molecules from the plant. Then we have to extract, then isolate, identify, characterize. So everywhere you will see the chemistry. So I could very well fit myself in this agriculture field. And without, I don't think without chemistry, if there is any field, if you just name any field and you will see the chemistry is there. It is very interesting. You will see chemistry, whether it is food, engineering, geology, geography, everywhere you will see the chemistry. Uh, Actually, like after my MSc, uh, in our department, many students they were appearing for this ARS exam, that is Agriculture Research Services, that is conducted at national level. So I also appeared. I also wrote the test, and I was lucky that in first attempt I could clear that exam and I could clear the interview also. So that way I got into this. Like, I never had any idea that I would go to agriculture field, but it was by chance, you can say, because I wrote that exam, I cleared it, and I got the chance to come into. And when I was into this system, so I had to like fit in the system. I have to make use of my chemistry because I am from the chemistry background. So chemistry, use of chemistry is very interesting. And here, like, I just said that pesticides are used in the crop protection. So like after harvest, we have to see like what level of pesticide is remaining after application of pesticide when it is harvested. I mean the residues, the residues of pesticides. So pesticide residues estimation, that is also like chemistry is there. So in agriculture, lot of role, chemistry has lot of role to play. Now I'm proud of being a scientist here, because whatever passion I had, because I always had passion for research from the childhood. Like, I had passion that I wanted to do something, because after BSc I had to do, because of family pressure I had to do B.Ed. And like I did 1 year teaching job also, but I don't know, I was not satisfied although I was getting full salary. But something was there, something was missing in my life, because of, maybe because of this passion for research. So I discontinued my studies, then I joined my MSc for in chemistry. And then I got registered for PhD also, though I could not, I had to discontinue PhD from Delhi University in chemistry because of family issues, like my daughter was there and some other issues were there. But when I joined the services, I continued. I started my PhD from this IRI, that is Premier Institute of Agriculture. So, because of this passion only, I could continue, and I'm still continuing. And I don't think I don't want to get retired because of this passion. I want to continue my research. My the passion for research is always there. Actually, like in our family, we are five sisters and one brother. But my mother like never differentiated like between girl and a boy. She, though she was uneducated, she was not educated, but she always wanted that her children should study. And I was in the school, I was very brilliant, I was very sharp. So she always encouraged, she always encouraged and motivated me, like, that I should go for higher study. So like whatever dreams I had, She always supported me. She always motivated me that if I am interested, if I want to continue further, I have to. Like she did. She never let me do any household job, although we belong to very like low middle class family. Financial issues were there, and like finance was not there to support the studies. But anyhow, I managed because I used to have some tuitions, then some other work, just for just for my education. Even my MSc was also got sponsored through some agency was there. So because of my passion for education, for higher study, she was always there, that I should not stop my passion. I should not stop like what I have desire for my higher study. So like the way she never let me to do any household work what my other members were doing. So I was always with my books and she was there to support me. Actually, being chemist, my work is basically for the environmental safety. I'm working for the environmental safety, whether it is use of chemicals or it is use of botanicals. So even if we are using chemicals, we always use judicious use. We always have judicious use of chemicals. Like injudicious use of chemicals, or it is going to harm the environment. It is not safe for the environment. So whenever we talk of the crop production, we don't focus on the quantity, because quality is another issue. So for quantity and quality, we have to ensure that whatever food we are producing, that should be like chemical free. That should be that should reach, whether it is the domestic market or the international market. That should be like below the permissible level of the chemicals, whichever chemical is applied. We don't say no to the chemicals, because chemicals are required for the food production, to feed the growing population of the country. So we cannot ignore, but we have to use these chemicals in a very judicious way. So whatever work I am doing, that is related with the, like I'm working on the bioactive molecules. Recently I have worked on this indigenous practices, like the farmers which they are practicing since ages. So one of the project was there, so we used to explore those indigenous practices from the farmers. And it was just like from instead of lab to land, it was lad to lamb, land to lab, then again lab to land. Like we took the practices from the farmers, we scientifically validated those technologies. After validation, we gave it to the farmers again. Like it was taken from the farmers, scientifically validated in the lab, then again given to the farmers. So that way those practices were like implemented by the farmers, which did not have any use of chemicals. That is one of the work. So that bioformulation I had developed, that got patented, and it has been commercialized also. Then another work I did, that is extraction, that is actually the waste to wealth. I extracted one of the product from the waste of honeybee wax. So that product I had tested, and that had very promising efficacy in the medical field. The dental students, one of the dental students used it as the root canal filling material in the teeth of primary teeth of the children. So that product, that process and product, that has also been patented. Means I have been granted a patent for that also. So I have used chemistry, like whether it is the waste product of agriculture, or it is the from the natural source. Means even even if we are using the natural sources, we should be very judicious. It should be used in a very judicious manner. We cannot exploit the natural resources. Yeah, one of the technology that farmer he was practicing, that was actually cow urine based technology. He has prepared some it was a kind of herbal herbal decoction in cow urine. So we have standardized the technology, like the ratio and proportion, it was standardized as per the availability of the means the ingredients. Then it was tested in the lab. Once we were satisfied with the results, then it was taken to the field. It was validated in the tomato crop, and for continuous for 2 years we had tested the technology. When then it was like sent for the analysis report. And the analysis report, as per the analysis report, it had a major quantity of micro and macronutrients. So it acted as not only the means as a pesticide, but as a plant growth regulator. So when we had applied this bioformulation in the field, we did not use any fertilizer, we did not use any chemical, we did not use any organic product. Single, it was on zero residues. Zero residues mean no fertilizer was applied. And when it was compared with the other plots, the yield was substantial yield we got. It was really really good that time in 2008. And because of that promising results, so we had applied for the patent, and we were fortunate that the patent was granted for this technology. And now it is being commercialized because of you know the now it is the world of natural farming, organic farming. So this is the demand of the day, so it is being used by the farmers now. Actually, it was like my professional journey was full of struggles. I struggled a lot from from very first day when I had joined. I started facing the struggles because the man dominating society, what they want, the yes boss. And like my quality was, I had never been yes boss to my bosses. So that was the main thing which was not liked by the male means colleagues or the bosses. So because of this nature, like I was like one promotion was not I was like I was not given 1 year promotion, so I had to wait for another year because of this quality of not being yes boss. So they wanted that when I come to office, I should go to their room and say, yes, good morning, sir, I have come. When I'm leaving, so sir, now I am leaving. So I was not paid for this. My job was like whatever was assigned to me. Being scientist, I have to do research. So, and because of that I had faced lot of issues, because many directors they wanted uh, actually in our system, the bosses they want, whenever we are writing a project or we are writing a research paper, they want their name as the first author, which I never did. So like in my case, I used to be very determined, very confident, and very, you can say, bold in this sense, that I used to simply flatly refuse that I won't do this. And because of that I had to suffer a lot. Like in one example I'll just tell you. uh, in I was nominated as a SAC focal point scientist. So I had to represent country for the SAC member states. And like 2011 I had been there, but in 2014 when we had to share the data, so that time my director, because the mail from the SAC member the mail used to be sent to the director, not to the directly to the scientist. So when it came to the director himself nominated himself as the focal point scientist without my knowledge. And like everything went on, and I didn't have any information. So when he was granted visa, he had his tickets. So I was fortunate that at the last moment one of the mail was copied to me. So from that mail I could get that this belongs to me, and somebody else is taking the credit, and that too my director. So I had to represent to my headquarter, and I was lucky that my the DG intervened, and he wrote on the file that he will not go and I should go. And because of that I had to face a lot of issues, because personal issues then started. So like this many, like with every boss I had the same problem. One of the boss, he wanted that his name should be there as the project leader. But when I said what will be your role in the project, he said no, because I am director, so you have to write my name and you have to work. But when I am working and he is becoming my leader, so that was not acceptable. So again, I had requested my headquarter, then they intervened. So he had to withdraw. But the scientist who was associated me, he removed his name also. So he said, now you have to work independently all alone. So now I will see how will you work. That project was funded by the Ministry of Agriculture. So that was 3 years project. So I completed that project. I Because that was, I had to generate data at different locations of the country. So I went at each location independently alone. I conducted the experiments. I successfully finished the experiments. I submit based on the results. I submitted the sorry, recommendations to the Ministry of Agriculture, and those recommendations were very appreciated. Actually, I would suggest that you don't believe the destiny. I would say you don't believe the destiny, because destiny is to be created by you. If you are determined, if you are confident, if you are bold enough to face the challenges, because once, like when a person is right, he or she doesn't have to be scared of anything, because when you are right, you should stand up, even if no one is standing there with you, no one is supporting you. So uh, like I would say that stand up for what is right, even if you are standing alone, even if nobody is supporting you. Because when you are right, you don't have to be scared of anyone. Like initially you may face issues because of this mantra, but I don't think that you as per my understanding, you have the capacity to bow down the people, because you are right. And if you are because I had to fight a lot, because I knew that time that I was right. So even I had to, like, my headquarter also supported me, because other, like, there are women which used to say that, Sumitra, why you are writing to headquarter, they may take action against you. I said, when I am right, then how can they take action against me? Because I'll tell you one example, that I had organized a national workshop, national seminar, that was at national level. So initially I got permission from my director, but later on, because that time he was confident that I may not be able to make it, that was at national level. But I got support from one of the other institute. And at the last moment, like, my director was totally against this, and he called a meeting of the center, and he declared that this seminar is not going to happen. And again my headquarters supported me. My DDG called me, and him also, and he said, I said that tickets have been booked. Around 150 delegates, they are going to attend this seminar. They have booked their tickets, their accommodation has been booked. So how can you declare that it is not going to happen? So my DG, they supported me, and they asked my director that this is going to happen whatever way, whether you support or not support, but this is going to happen. And I got funding from DST, from DBT, from NABARD, even ICR gave me huge funding to conduct that workshop. That was 2 days workshop, and it was a huge success. And you won't believe, even the dignitaries, like, who were there, like who were associating me, they tried to hijack it. And when my DG was felicitated with a bouquet of flowers, he called me and he said, this lady deserves this bouquet. I don't deserve, because this lady did lot of hard work. Day and night she was busy arranging, making the arrangements, organizing this workshop. So before the huge, the gathering, he welcomed me with that bouquet. And I was so, like, that made my day. I was so happy, because my hard work, it was my hard work which paid me. And like even after I had to struggle a lot, but I was every time I was being paid. So with the results, the hard work, the struggle which I faced, that never bothered me. Yeah, yeah, because science is very interesting, and through science, like you can help the society to for the development, for the growth. Because science and technology is the field where you can use whatever you want to concept, you want to use your concept, your idea through science and technology, because there is advancement in science. So that way they can use, means their ideas they can use in science, and through that, through science they can use their ideas for the development of the society, for the country. And I would say it is not limited to the country. Like we should talk about the planet as a whole, because as per that G20 message was there, one family, one earth, one family, one future. So we have to think of the planet as a whole. And for the planet, like the main issue is that environment safety. Environment safety means whatever product or whatever technology we are using, that should be chemical free. And the work, like if I talk about myself, whatever work I am doing, that will be for the coming generation, that will be like I'll be giving a world of chemical free world, I would say. I would tell main thing, like you work hard, uh, you don't get scared of the challenges, because whatever challenges you are facing, you just accept. And you don't believe the destiny, you, because destiny is to be created by your hard work, by your passion. So you keep going, um, ignoring the obstacles, because that will definitely pay you in near future. uh, India is great economy, and like in the world now it is being placed as a great economy. And like for a sustainable environment, we should get rid of that single use plastic. That is one thing, because that is uh, that ends up in a river, or the aquatic oceans, the landfills, and threatening the lives of aquatic and wildlife species. And we should have the eco-friendly, environment-friendly things. Whatever things we are using, that should be eco-friendly and environment-friendly. The natural farming, the organic farming, which is on the way, this is the demand of the day. Then the natural resources, they should be used judiciously. And we can help the world in a better way using the chemical free, um, chemical free things. Like whether it is uh, whether I talk of agriculture, so whether it is pesticides or it is fertilizers, or because even in the even after harvest, there is issues in the storage of the food commodities. So even for the storage, pest management, we can use the, there are other methods besides chemical methods. There are biological methods, cultural methods, mechanical methods. So many, so we should have integrated approach. Like I would say that we should have integrated approach. We should not solely rely on the chemicals for the protection of the environment, I would say. Because environment is chemicals, they are degrading the environment. We are being like we are getting contaminated, whether it is I talk of water, air, crop, soil. You talk of anything that is adulterated with chemicals. Even that atmosphere, the ozone layer is also being depleted because of the chemicals. So like way forward is to use the chemical free things for the protection of the environment.